Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to take a journey inward. We'll explore 5 really powerful ideas to help us find a bit more clarity, strength, and maybe some peace in our day-to-day lives. So let's dive in.
Does it ever just feel like you're trying to find your way through this constant storm of, expectations, distractions, and maybe even a little self-doubt? If you've ever felt kind of lost or overwhelmed, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to talk all about finding your anchor.
And our journey starts with what is probably the most crucial first step. This is the foundation for any real inner growth. It's all about learning how to make peace with the one person you are with every single moment of your life, yourself.
It sounds so simple, but this is incredibly profound. We have to give ourselves permission to be human, permission to mess up, to have those down moments, to not have everything figured out. That's not a sign of weakness. It's just an essential part of the human experience. And really accepting that, well, that's where the healing begins.
I mean, really think about that for a second. When a good friend of yours makes a mistake, what do? You offer support, right? Understanding, kindness. So why is the voice inside our own heads often so incredibly harsh? This is such a powerful reminder to turn that compassion inward and just quiet down our own inner critic.
And this, right here, illustrates the choice we have perfectly. On one side, you've got the inner critic, which keeps us literally shackled to the past, just replaying every single mistake over and over. But on the other side, you have forgiveness, and that transforms those mistakes into lessons. It doesn't erase what happened, but it unlocks the chains, and that lets us finally move forward with some peace and strength.
Okay, so let's move on to our second wisdom and see how this all starts to connect. Once we've laid that foundation of self-acceptance, we need something to actually propel us forward. And that's where curiosity comes in. It's basically the fuel for our journey. Now, what's so cool about this is that it defines curiosity not as some passive personality trait, but as an active engine. It truly doesn't matter how old you are or what you've already achieved in life. This spark, this desire to learn and explore, that's what keeps our lives feeling vibrant and just full of possibility.
So how do we actually keep that spark alive? Well, it's about taking these small but really intentional steps. Keeping an open mind, kind of like a kid who's always asking why. Daring to step just a little bit outside of what feels comfortable. Every time we do this, we're not just learning something new, we are literally expanding the boundaries of our own lives.
Now for our third wisdom. Okay, so we've got our foundation and we've got our fuel. But let's be honest, the journey of life is almost never a straight line. It is full of twists and turns. This section is all about seeing those detours not as dead ends, but as part of the path itself.
This is such a powerful way to reframe things. So often we see a closed door or some sudden change as a failure or a crisis. But what if we just chose to see it differently? What if it's life's way of redirecting us towards something amazing that we couldn't have seen otherwise?
You've probably heard this saying a million times, but it holds so much truth. Sometimes, the most beautiful and enriching parts of our lives are found on paths we never, ever intended to take. The trick isn't to resist the detour, but to look around and see what new landscapes it might be showing you. The crucial thing to get here is that this is a process. It's not instant. It starts with that unexpected event, right? That moment where you feel completely thrown off, but it's followed by a period of observation and adaptation, just giving ourselves time. And that process is what ultimately leads to discovering new potential in ourselves and in our lives.
Okay, so on this winding path with all of its unexpected turns, we're going to need a reliable guide, right? Well, our fourth wisdom is a reminder that the absolute best guide we will ever have is the one that's already inside us, our inner compass.
I mean, think about it. We are just bombarded by external noise all day long. What we should do, what other people expect from us, what society says is valuable. But somewhere in all that chaos is our inner voice, our intuition, our truest feelings. The real challenge is learning to tune out all that noise so we can actually hear the wisdom of our own inner guide.
And this is it's so important. We can ask for advice and gather all the information we want, but at the end of the day, only we can know what's truly right for us. And it requires actually taking some time for quiet reflection to really listen to what that quiet voice is trying to say.
And that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? To live a life that actually feels authentic. When we listen to and trust that inner compass, our choices start to line up with our core values, and we begin to build a life that is genuinely and authentically our own.
This brings us to our final wisdom, and this one is really the key to mastery. We've built the foundation, found our fuel, we've learned to navigate the path, and we've tuned into our compass. Now it's all about directing our energy where it's actually going to make a difference.
So we all have what you could call a circle of concern. It's filled with things that cause us anxiety. Global events, what other people think about us, even the weather. We can spend a ton of energy worrying about these things, but it's ultimately just draining because we have no real control over them.
But this is where our power is, the circle of influence. This contains everything we can do something about. Our attitude, our actions, how we respond to a setback, what we choose to learn. This is where our energy creates real, tangible results.
And this chart just illustrates the strategy perfectly. The more we intentionally pour our time and energy into our circle of influence, the more empowered and effective we become. And something fascinating starts to happen. As we focus on what we can control, our circle of influence actually begins to get bigger.
So there you have it, a complete toolkit for inner growth. Forgive yourself, stay curious, embrace the turns, trust your inner voice, and focus your energy where it truly matters most.
And that brings us to the final and honestly the most important question. This isn't about trying to master all 5 of these things at once. It's about taking one small intentional step. So I want you to ask yourself, which one of these ideas resonates with you the most right now? Just pick one and choose to nurture it just for today. Your journey of growth begins with that single, powerful choice.